Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Darpan. Last time we started Darpan with a brief, beautiful conversation on how does the war has an impact on all of us as businesses, all of us as world as a living. Between last time to this time, again, big disruptions have happened. Ceasefire, no ceasefire, fragile ceasefire, something being hit to UAE faster, more with more force. Sometimes some places happening. A lot of other snowballing effects are going on around the market and everything. A lot of uncertainty. So volatility has become, uncertainty has become a kind of a new normal. So while I was thinking of what to do this week, I realized a very big management philosophy and not more a management concept that you will have to, I will have to, all of us will have to imbibe completely within ourselves. And that management philosophy is what we call as disruption becoming a new normal. Disruption has become a new normal. Whatever you start, and we have seen, whatever you start as a business on day one may not exist in the context of the market on day 20, day 50, day 365 is too far. Day 30 is different. Now, how do we navigate? Now, while you are having a stable revenue stream and on it you have a unstable revenue stream because you took a decision, then can you handle this? First philosophically, then strategically, then culturally, then how do you do it financially? A lot of questions need to be answered, lots of them. And therefore, I thought, let's analyze some of the companies of the past and who have done it, who have not been able to do it. Why have they done it? How have they done it? And I realized a very beautiful concept of but is just that the speed of disruption has changed, but disruption always existed. Earlier, it was an event, now it's a continuum. And so today's Darpan, I'm going to be focusing on disruption becoming a new normal. And in this whole concept of presenting to you disruption as a new normal, I will first explain the whole conceptual clarity of the context and how do companies, what are different kinds of companies taking disruption at a different level. And if they do not, what happens to them? Okay, so taking the concept further. So, disruption, as we have seen it earlier, disruption means something just doesn't exist the way it used to exist completely. Like I discussed last time, energy prices, never going back, costs, never going back, thoughts, never going back, unstable mindset, never going back. So things are going to remain as it is. So the biggest disruption that needs to happen first, and this has been a constant endeavor of transganization from the day one it started, is the biggest disruption is inside you. If you're not ready to break this spot every single time, every single time, every single day, every single moment you live in, you will not be able to handle any disruption outside. Number one. Number two, while this whole thing is breaking off, while the whole world is breaking down, you can't calculate many things. Not possible. You cannot do these calculations. You cannot do these internal modelings. Persistence will make sense. Perseverance makes sense. And biggest, surrender to your faith, surrender to Almighty, surrender that I am on the right path, I am on the path of Dharma, I don't have an intention of doing wrong, and things will work out. This is the context in which you have to stay steady. If this is not steady, If you're in the blame mode, none of this is going to make sense. Okay, so from this core ideology, I want to start today's Darpan. Explain the core premise first. So, what is the core premise? The core premise is disruption is no longer an exception to business. It is now the operating environment. Okay, now first very important understanding you have to do. If you are in a business where you feel everything is very stable, steady, no problem, think again. Close your eyes, think again, go back, check. What assumptions on which you're basing your revenues today, basing your profits today, basing your margins today, have those assumptions expired? Or are you in a denial that no, 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 it's not expired yet. No, 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 this is not going to impact me. No, 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 nothing's going to happen. The question is not how to avoid disruption, but how to embrace it. How to build a business organization that can read it early and is ready for it. Absorb it intelligently. How can you convert it into your strategic strength? Okay, now this last line is important. It is not just about to, it is not avoiding disruption. It is to embrace it, build an organization around it. How? By reading it early, by absorbing it intelligently, and converting it into your strategic strength. But why does this conversation matter now? As I explained, so we are almost moving away from a world of periodic shocks to continuous volatility. Now, this has to be understood. So, like COVID came as a periodic shock, once in 100 years, such thing. And we thought that we have moved away from that period of COVID. It's not going to come back again. We thought that. And we are in a continuum right now. No problem, nothing is going to happen again. And then one thing happens, and the second happens. AI comes in. AI was not existing during COVID times. AI came, ChatGPT got launched, AI came in like a big way. Many of us sitting here right now in Darpan, and those listening to me while not right now here, and maybe on the YouTube right now, while you are not in the morning with me, 99% are still using ChatGPT to write emails. 99% are still using AI to just do WhatsApp messages. They're using AI or ChatGPT just to write their documents, scan their documents. Very few are using business for business models. Hardly any of you have made it a competitive advantage of your business. Hardly any of you. And I'm not saying you would have made it. You've not even started working towards it. Many of you, and I know so many of them, they've not started making it as a competitive advantage of you. Now, how do we do that? And why is it important? While on one side the world is falling, I would say it's falling for better because it's falling to create a new world. Geopolitics, energy crisis, supply chain instability, technology acceleration, shifts in consumer behavior, capital, talent pressure. So many things are happening around. While that is happening, there is a tool given to you which may help you reduce your costs, which may help you make you more efficient. But this needs to be thought and embraced like a strategic gift and not as a another technology coming into your life, and we as not as innovators we as laggards adopted when this has become almost mandatory. So earlier, these disruptions were felt as temporary, and now they are structural. So the key thought here, while I'm moving forward, disruption is no longer an event, it is the backdrop in which you exist. You like it or don't. It's no more an event. So a baby boomer mindset or even a millennial mindset will not work. Gen Z mindset might work. Gen Alpha is the today. So break the pot, become young from inside, glow from outside, and move with speed, faith, and surrender. So let's understand the new nature of disruption. What was the old model of disruption? Old model said disruption is occasional, localized, recoverable. So disruption was not looked at um, as a new offering. It was looked at as a event. I have to move over it. I have to transcend it. Or maybe when it has become kind of a systemic, I adopt it. So old model is disruption was occasional, localized, recoverable. The new model is disruption is recurring. Disruption is interconnected and it is systemic. So there is a, let me write it down for you so that you can make sense out of it. Disruption has become a different game now. So what was the old model of disruption? Old model. It was very simple, temporal. It was not structured. It was occasional. It was localized. It was recoverable. So it was, sorry, it was temporal. It was occasional. It was localized. Localized. And it was quote unquote recoverable. It was not a permanent scenario. What is the new model of disruption? New model of disruption is very different. It is recurring, first of all. It is interconnected and it is systemic. Darpan, as I was doing with you during COVID time versus now, I feel the world has moved 360 degrees. My own world, world of transganization, world in which we operate, lots of such things have gone, assumptions have gone, on which we based our businesses have gone. I remember speaking to one of our seekers, and he said at that time during the COVID times, he was just feeling okay. We can also be part of this online wave. We can also be part of this e-commerce wave. By the time I meet him about a month back, he's saying impossible. Swiggy, Zomato, everything has just broken down our basis of existence. And the speed at which it is happening, if I don't take any decision today of doing a big transformation, I'm going to definitely die in 6 months. Why? Consumer on which you based your business, that means he's going to come to me and he's going to buy from a mall. That consumer is not existing anymore. And this shift used to happen slower earlier. It's happening at exponential speed. So, therefore, the new model of disruption is recurring and very important, interconnected, and third, it is systemic. So, it is disruption as a model. Okay, now this is the basis in which we are existing. Let's take examples. War affects energy, like last time I said. Energy affects, okay, I would not say affects. Okay, I'm going to say certain, I'll change the word affect. War becomes energy crisis. Energy crisis becomes logistics costs. Logistic costs becomes pricing and availability. Pricing becomes a demand disruption. Demand disruption becomes business inviability and maybe investment confidence. So, key thought is what? Key thought is leaders can no longer respond linearly to non linear realities. So, I'm going to give you key thought after key thought. Let me put down the two key thoughts I discussed today. The first key thought, which you have to embrace. I mean, whether you like it or don't like it, whether you can see it or can't see it, it is happening right in front of you. So, the first key thought, so key thoughts, and we're going to keep writing the whole time. What are the key thoughts? The first key thought, and please understand this first, whatever I'm saying right now, you have to just find a space in your head so that you can keep it. It might not make sense right now. It might not, you might not like it right now, but this is something which will start absorbing and become you in some time, in few days, a few years. That time, wherever you are, you start from there only. The first key thought. First key thought is disruption is not an event, it is the backdrop anymore. It's the backdrop. Second key thought, which we discussed right now, leaders, entrepreneurs, family businesses, promoters can no longer respond linearly to non-linear realities. So, leaders can no longer respond linearly to non-linear activities. Okay. So, two key thoughts we discussed so far, and we go from here to the next important part of the effect happening, right? So, therefore, so first we understood what is the backdrop on which we are living in, why the context in the conversation is important. Then we thought, what is the new nature of disruption? Old model, new model. Now, three big shifts every business must recognize. Three big shifts. First of all, lean systems Lean systems, lean technology, remember? Lean systems are efficient in stable times, but resilient systems survive unstable times. So, the first big shift is from efficiency to resilience. It's a big shift in strategy. So, cost optimization, for which you talk about efficiency, productivity, etc., can no longer be a strategy. I can have a cost optimized, efficient system, but not resilient. Hiring, getting people on board, more important is getting resilient people, strong at heart, mind, ability, not can't break, not big disruptions can break them. We don't want only efficient people. We also want now with efficiency resilient people. We don't want just efficient systems. We want resilient systems. So lean systems are efficient in stable times. Resilient systems are required. They survive the unstable times. So the first shift from efficiency to resilience. Second shift, second big shift from prediction to preparedness. Okay, let me write this again for you so that you understand each shift properly. Just hold on. So, like we discussed about, so we'll keep writing key thoughts over here. And disruption is a model. So, key shifts. So, the first key shift is from efficiency to resilience. That's the first key shift. Second key shift is from prediction to preparedness. Means what? So forecasting has limits. Now the definitely has limits. Last time I said you have to move away from annual operating plans to QOP, quarterly operating plans. So prediction has limits. Forecasting has limits in volatile environments, in disruptive environments. What is a new way of thinking in AOPs? So one is, let me write this down first for you. From prediction to preparedness. That's the key shift. So what do you prepare for? You prepare for scenarios. So forecasting has limits in volatile environments. Scenario thinking becomes more important than single point planning. Second B shift. That means what? That means do you have one AOP or multiple AOPs? Can you predict? Can you be prepared for anything happening? Because you may not be able to predict. Are you using your intuition as predictions, or maybe if you have to do planning, or are you using tools like AI will have to be used in this volatile environment to be able to maybe see things which your common sense is not able to see? So first shift is from efficiency to resilience. Second shift is from prediction to preparedness. Third big shift. So the third big shift is from growth at any cost, from growth at any cost to adaptive, stable growth. You may not grow in a year. It's all right. It's acceptable now. But remaining cash positive, remaining response of speed, response, speed of response, flexibility, all important. So therefore, we have to move from growth at any cost to adaptive growth. That is the kind of shift you're seeing now. So on one side, you have disruption happening the way as a recurring interconnected model. On the other side, you have shifts in which you have to be looking at your organizations from today. So what is the key thought here? Like there's a key thought here. Disruption is not an event. There's a key thought here. Leaders can no longer respond to things linearly. There's a key thought because of shifts. The key thought here is winners. Who will win? Winners will not be the biggest players. Winners will be the most adaptive players who might be taking a jump, leap in the risky zone. It's okay because risk is anywhere, everywhere now. Not doing anything is risk now. If you stop, you can't. You may think, यार ये क्या धक्का ही लग रहा है मुझे, but धक्का is anyway happening if you're living. The only way to stop is die. There's no other way to stop. And literally die, not shut the company, literally die. The only way to stop is die. There's no other way to stop because everything is going to push you only now. We have created environment in such a way that we will have to now move into that zone of continuously growing, cautiously growing. Be very, every 15-day planning has to be done. 30-day planning has to be done. Next 15 days need to be planned. Month beginning has to be planned. But your eyes and persistence and 100% focus and being there is important. Therefore, the winners will not be the biggest players. Winners will be the most adaptive players. It's a very important thought. Winners will not be the biggest players. Winners will be the most adaptive players. If you can't adapt, or if you have your old mindset still ruling your head, if you can't listen to your sons, if you can't listen to your daughter, if you can't listen to those young people who are seeing things differently, no matter how wrong it looks logically to you, listen, empathize, go sit in his or her shoes and think, how are they thinking? How are they thinking? As simple as that. The kind of people, Gen Alpha today, the people who are in their teens, not even 20s, teens, early teens, 13 years onwards, before 20, they can see content from a perspective you can't even think about it. They see AI as a natural gift to them, nature's gift to them, not man's gift to them. Organizations are being run by either Gen Zs or millennials today. In many cases, in family businesses that we work with, even baby boomers. And the world is in the Gen Alpha stage. So there is a huge generational gap. And generational gap is not about you will have a fight at home or fight in office. Generation gap is in the way environment is responding. Context is being created. So winners will not be the biggest players. Winners will be the most adaptive players. Think, understand, adapt, absorb, adapt. So that is the scenario from disruption to internal organization. Now, if I've just given you the way organization needs to be designed, whether you do it or not, whether you do it or not, disruption will have changes inside your organization. It will have, whether you like it or not. Decision making cycles will become shorter. Leadership anxiety can spread faster than the crisis itself. क्राइसिस नहीं अभी स्प्रेड हुआ इतना जितना एंजाइटी स्प्रेड हो गई है. टीम नीड्स क्लैरिटी, not just confirmation or communication. They need clarity. So the three C's of success for the organization were communication, communication, communication. Remember? That's gone. During COVID times, I said three C's are not communication, communication, communication. Three C's are communicare, communicare, communicare. If you remember that beautiful word that took birth in COVID times. But that is what was required. Now the three C's are clarity, clarity, clarity. And clarity today may lead to no clarity tomorrow. So therefore, clarity, clarity. Again, whatever clarity you give today will last for 15 days. Imagine that. Why? Because whatever clarity you gave today was based on today's context. In 15 days, in 30 days, contexts are shifting. So clarity expires. You will have to live with people who can continuously come and clean your mind, clean your heart, clean your spirit, and you can see things. You can't be living with people who are transferring, first you are anxious, transferring their anxiety to you. Therefore, I meet so many people who are coaches, their job is to scare you. Idea is not to scare. Idea is to give clarity. The world is becoming like this, become like that. So if you are able to bring clarity, automatically you will be able to live clearly. So decision making cycles have become shorter. Leadership anxiety is spreading faster than crisis. Team need clarity more than communication. Functional silos have become more dangerous than they were earlier. Functional silos have become more dangerous than they were earlier. They were always dangerous, but they have become more dangerous. And during disruption, functional silos can act as a detriment to your growth. Strategy decks are not required. Last important point. Strategy decks are not required. Execution discipline becomes more valuable. It was always valuable, but now you can't live without it. So strategy has been replaced by clarity. Strategy has been replaced by clarity, and execution is the only key. Only key. Why? Because while you're executing, your clarity changes. And anybody who comes and tells you, hey, hi, do this thing and do that thing, and while you're doing it, things have changed. And the guy who gave you the thought and idea is missing. And when he comes and says, why did you do this? He said, things changed, so I adopted to those changes, and there will be clash. Why? Because you're not holding the hand and walking together. So execution is the key. It's very valuable. So as leaders, you have to understand absenteeism, absentee leadership is not going to work. Absentee entrepreneurship is not going to work. Delegation, not going to work. You will have to be present there while you are also adaptive and not spreading anxiety. Your presence is required. Your action is not required. You don't need to do anything for you to be present. So, therefore, a key idea here is in disruption, during a time of disruption, organizational coherence becomes competitive advantage. Changes the whole scenario of where we saw competitive advantage. So the key thought during disruption, organizational coherence becomes competitive advantage. If you're not coherent, you will be not competitive. One more idea which I discussed here. Presence is more valuable for leadership. Two types of leaders. One who will be doing one on the ground while you're there just to smile, pass energy, give clarity, stay there, do nothing. But then nothing is everything. While you're present, what are you doing? You're absorbing the disruption, you're absorbing the anxiety, you're absorbing the issues, you become an absorbing agent. When you become an absorbing agent, what happens is all the dirt of the place gets absorbed within you. You already have superpower given by God. You can just become a what do you say? Um, aqua guard or air purifier. You just purify it throughout the good air outside. Energy comes from presence. It doesn't come from action. From action, only arrogance comes. Presence gives energy. Let your brother, let your sister, let your sons, let your employees work. You be present to absorb negativity, to absorb anxiety, and not pass on. Absorb. Pass on positivity. No matter how negative you're feeling, pass on positivity. Smile all the time, laugh all the time. Things might not be right inside your head, at your home, wherever, but be present like a inspirational leader. Your presence is more valuable than leadership and than action. Because while you're present, everybody becomes coherent. While you're absent, everybody becomes anxious. So leadership anxiety will spread faster than crisis. If you remember that I told you, when it all talked about this leadership, this actually meant the second layer. The first layer is supposed to be the absorber of that anxiety. Presence is very valuable. in this time. And now, from now onwards, whatever time. Okay, next. So, key thought is that organizational coherence has become the competitive advantage. Just take this word, important. Organizational coherence becomes the competitive advantage. Okay. So, therefore, like in Darpan, we say pause, perceive, prioritize, proceed. This has almost become a leadership framework during disruption. Almost become a leadership framework. Pause means what? Avoid panic decisions. Separate signal from noise very clearly. Signal को noise से separate करो. Too much noise will come. Energy crisis happening, this happening, that happening. उसमें से signal पकड़ो. मेरे लिए क्या valid है? कुछ ना कुछ इसमें से valid है. सब जो भी दिख रहा है, जो भी disruptive thought दिख रहे हैं. One, let me start by again saying certain things. Whatever I'm speaking with a lot of positivity. Everything is very positive here around. I'm not talking from a negativity. What you're taking and making inside might become negative because you might see कि ये तो मेरे पास कुछ है ही नहीं, ये मैं कैसे करूंगा. Understand one thing: if you're living, if you're alive, if this organization exists, you can do it. If you have a business running right now today, you have the power to make a difference. You can do it. The only thing between doing and difference is decision. Take decisions today. And that's where you need to disrupt first before you disrupt anything in the organization. It takes 1 day to change the mind. It takes 21 days to change the habit. It takes 365 days to change the body. And persistent work on all the three continuously. It takes 1065 days to change you. But while you are doing it, in the age of disruption, I call it the age of disruption. It's a new normal. You need to adopt this 4 point model: pause, perceive, prioritize, proceed. So the understand the key thought is calm clarity is now leadership capability. How do you, okay, let me put this down for you. So pause, perceive, prioritize, and proceed. So the key thought again becomes from here is is the calm clarity has become the new leadership capability. The more you start doing things yourself and don't lead from behind, lead as a coach, don't enable, empower, create an environment, the more you're dying. It is easy to go and read a book. It is easy to go and read a self-help book. It's very easy to go and read a concept. It's easy to listen to me, easy to attend a Darpan, easy to attend another leadership coaches. ज्ञान तो बहुत भरपूर अवेलेबल है, बहुत अवेलेबल. अब तो अब तो ज्ञान अब तो ज्ञान इतना अवेलेबल है कि अगर आप चाहो तो अपना भी बना सकते हो. बुक लिखना वाज लग्जरी एट वन टाइम. टुडे इज इजी. Publish is easy. Writing an article is easy. But because you're not writing, you're just giving an idea and ChatGPT gives it to you. Claude gives it to you. Easy. But are you using these tools to create arrogance, or are you using these tools to create presence? to bring in clarity, to become shunya, to realize it is no more a competitive advantage to have a book written. It is no more competitive advantage to have a great strategy. You are the competitive advantage now. If you can pause, you can perceive, you can prioritize, you can proceed like that, if you can create a presence leadership, if you're not into action all the time, action sometime just to empower, just to show, just to help them lead. Presence is more valuable for leadership than action. You need to be present right in the center of the office, sitting like a Shakti Kumbh and absorbing all the anxiety, all the issues, all the problems, and no more sitting in a corner cabin. This is the time of presence. You need to become a monk, and that's the only way to survive. Because disruptions are happening every single day, not weeks. Last week, between this week, so much happened. Unbelievable. Iran almost, civilization was almost about to die, and suddenly something else happens, and we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Nothing is stable. How will it impact us? How will it impact you? Nobody knows. So for that, we don't need a anxious leader. We need a calm leader. So calm clarity is the new leadership capability. So from here, we move to the strategic questions that every leader must ask. And these are the questions that we will have to keep in our head all the time. Strategic questions that every leader must ask. Number one, which part of our business model assumes stability that no longer exists? So, question that you need to answer, which part of our business model assumes stability that no longer exists? Now, this can be pricing, this can be costing, this can be logistics, this can be supply chain, this can be anything. This question needs to be asked by all of us. Second question, where are we overexposed? Second question. Before we meet next, try to answer these questions for yourself. Third question, what are the early warning signals we are ignoring? This isn't for me, this won't affect me, this will impact me, those kind of things. There is some intuitive power that you've got which can read through things. So there are some early warning signals that are coming to you, but you may be ignoring. So, what are the early warning signals that we are ignoring? Very interesting strategic question. They should think. Which costs are fixed but may become variable or can become variable? Fourth question. Fifth question. Which capabilities are now mission critical? What are those capabilities which are mission critical for? Sixth question. Now, this is something which is an interesting question that you should understand. Now, there may be a design that you're doing to pass through this crisis, and I'm personally living this daily with various seeker organizations on a daily basis, and everybody, and such a blessing that God has given us. I can see through so many things because those experiences are being offered to me. Are we preparing for next quarter, or are we redesigning the next era? And I'm telling you, there's a steep difference between the two completely. One who is working for next quarter and even for next year, for example, will be at a competitive disadvantage. And the ones who are redesigning the new era, no matter what, how difficult phase they are going through today, will be at a competitive advantage in long term. And they will not die. So, are we preparing for next quarter, or are we simple redesigning next era? That's why I love these interesting, very interesting, those things. What do you say? Organizations. I saw the balance sheet of Zepto, and anybody will say कि कितना stupid balance sheet है, कितना loss है, ये है, वो है, बहुत कुछ. They can say anything on that. But you know what they're doing? It's a cost of changing habit. They're almost redesigning the new era. Swiggy redesigned the new era. Uber redesigned the new era. Are we part of that redesigning process, or do you think you're not too much capable to do it? I'm telling you, all of you are. All of us are. All of us. Every single day I spent within transganization, I know every second, every moment, every time, every breath I take within it. No matter how difficult times I go through, no matter how, as if I feel that the whole world is pounding on you. Every side, this side, that side, decision taken wrong, this thing going wrong. But the root of our survival or our thriving is because we are designing the new era. We will design. And anybody who's on this path of not living for today, living for next quarter, and is the path of designing the new era, you are actually at a tremendous competitive advantage than anybody else in this world. No matter what you're doing, it can be as small as creating a delivery platform. And each one of the seekers I'm working with, each one of them I'm working deeply with, all of them have the models have the, okay, models have the name. Models are shouting in your ears, redesign me for the new era. But what most of us are not hearing it. Most of us saying what? सब ठीक है ना, चल रहा है ना, what is the issue now? Those are the conversations that we are having as leaders, as promoters, as family owners, we are not looking at new era as a design element inside and not as a and we're looking at it, we're not looking at it as a competitive advantage. And therefore the things become a little difficult and you start falling off and you start dropping off and you're doing all those things. Let's take some sectors. Take for example retail sector. Retail sector price volatility is the disruption happening. All of us know it. Demand is shifting. All of us know it. You are part of it. You are the consumer of it every single day. How many times do you order from Swiggy, Zomato in a day? Versus you used to go buy stuff from outside earlier. Can you imagine your life without them? So demand fulfillment has shifted. Are you going to be part of the innovator bell curve or laggard bell curve? It's your choice. You understand what I'm saying? Let me make it for you. Maybe you will understand. I'm imagining some things. Okay. So sorry. Sorry, my pen is bad. So this is the point. This is the point, or this is the point. Either you can be part of this 2% of the population, or you can be part of the 16% of the population, or you can be part of this whatever 80% of the population, or you can be part of this 2%. So 2 plus 2, 4 plus 16 is 20 plus 80. This 80% are waiting for 16 to succeed. And many of them will fail because 16 have already done it. 16 are not the ones who really innovate. These 2% are the ones who innovate. So, for example, in the transportation business, in the logistics business, Porter has done a disruption already. Now, don't look at the balance sheets. Stupid thing to do right now. They have not made businesses for 10 years. They made business for 100 years to exist. So they've already in this stage. They've already done this. This India के अंदर people are craving. Some businesses are craving. Make me like this. Make me like this. Some of them will make. They'll become beautiful success. Better than Porter rolls. Beautiful success. Why? Because let Porter do all the mistakes. I'll make it correct. But this 80% will be the people who will wait for the 16 to succeed. And when you are in this 80%, business models have matured with this new disruption thought. And those business models which are matured, when they start falling on your head, you start falling aside. You start not creating any impact because then some will fail, some will succeed. And these 2% are the ones who will adopt this only when everything has stopped working. So, which part of the bell curve you belong to, you have to ask yourself. So, retail may demand shifts have happened, inventory risks are already part of it, consumer down trading is happening already. Real estate, for example दे देते हैं real estate का delayed investments, rising cost of material होने वाला है, हो भी रहा है. Financial uncertainty exists because of a lot of things. People are having locational preferences, were having and now having new ones. So they're changing their preferences. Manufacturing, for example, Raw material volatility, energy dependence, projects are getting delayed, orders that were given to you have been kept aside. There's a working capital pressure, etc., etc. Services businesses like us, client hesitation, slower closures, pressure on margins, sudden stoppages. A lot of things are happening. So disruption is becoming almost a fact rather than an assumption. It's a fact of today. So, what do the future ready organizations do differently? So, certain things I will explain as a solution which needs to be implemented well. So, future ready organizations will do certain things differently. First, and this I had almost similarly explained last time also. Let me write it down again for you. So, future the future ready organization will do following things differently. Number one, they will build scenario based planning systems. They will build scenario based planning systems. So, number one, build. What does that mean? Same thing we just spoke to you last time. You can't have a single AOP. You'll have to have if this happens, then what? If this happens, then what? If this happens, then what? Keeping all those disruptions for your sector in mind. If may, if may, if may. So, not to react, but to be generative in the thought. So, if you react, you are late. If you're generative, you are not. Second, you will have to create faster review rhythms. Now, annual review rhythms will not work. If it is possible, you will need to have a monthly review rhythm. If not possible, minimum quarterly review rhythm. Have faster review rhythms. Third, reduce dependence on single points of failure. So suppose you're operating from 15 environments or 15 places, 15 locations, 15 industries. It can be anything for your business. It can be 15 customers. It can be 50 customers. Reduce dependence on single points of failure. One failure happens, you have something to go on to. So reduce single points of failure. You may be having a decentralized function, but imagine if your people are spread out, if your locations are spread out, if your sales is spread out, operations is spread out, you may have a decentralized function, but you will need to balance decentralization with lot of presence and strategic control. So use technology here. So reduce decentralization, inefficiencies with presence and strategic control. Last but not the least, strengthen financial and cultural resilience together. You may fall financially a day, a month, a quarter, a year, no problem. But you can't break from inside. So you have to strengthen the financial and cultural resilience, and both of them together. And typically, this happens if you're building for next era. If you're building for next quarter or family to be taken care of, or some people, some business value will be paid, profit will come. I'll buy a land, I'll buy a farmhouse. If that is the scenario, this will not work, because then you'll be in the saving mode, you'll be in the protecting mode. When you're in the building mode, creating an era mode, not building an organization, creating an era mode, you will not have any issue building the resilience. But no matter what it is, whichever stage you are in, you will have to strengthen the financial and cultural resilience. Ones who are building for the era, this is natural outcome. Ones who are not, this is not a natural outcome. Okay. So the key thought here, again, like I was discussing key thought, the key thought here is that future belongs to organizations that are not merely efficient but awakened. What do you mean by awake? Your persistence, your perseverance, your presence. Your absenteeism entrepreneurship is not going to work. It's the thought of past. This is not going to work. Absentee entrepreneurship doesn't work. And therefore, the big key thought. Let me copy this. Second, it's gone. And last but not the least key thought is the belongs to future belongs to organizations that are not merely efficient, but they're resilient and awakened. This is the important part that you must understand. Therefore, just to conclude today's concept, the disruption as we used to view, see, imagine, disruption does not only test business models, it is today testing leadership maturity. And that's a very important point that you have to understand. In unstable times, real differentiator is not who reacts the fastest. In the unstable times, the real differentiator is not who reacts the fastest. The real differentiator is who sees the deepest, stays steady, and acts in wisdom. And for past 5 years, unstable times have not finished. They're becoming more and more prevalent only. And next 5 years not going to be similar. There is a lot of things that are going to happen. So real question is your organization built to survive it, respond it, and grow through it? Or your organization is built to react to it? Because surviving, responding, and growing through it with it finally is a different way of living, and reacting is a different way of living. So either you can survive now, respond eventually, and grow with it and become the disruptor in the future. That is the real question to be answered. Now, what we will do is next Darpan. I'm going to be presenting to you a disruption postures. How disruption postures function. What are different postures? And what are different kinds of organizations? And who will survive? Who will thrive? Who will ride the next wave? And who will die? So stay tuned. Come in the next Darpan with this understanding. Go through the whiteboards. Go through the uh, video again. Understand it again deeply. Absorb it again. And I'll see you next week on Saturday, 7:30 a.m. All right. Thank you. If you have any questions, you can ask me now. Okay. Yes, Pareshji.
Very good morning and pranam.
Pranam, pranam, Pareshji.
Thank you very much for the illustrious presentation of the current situation. The way you explain the reaction to the current scenario or the situations and how to act upon for resolution and growth. It is very much impressive and thank you so much.
Thank you very much for being there. Thank you.
My pertinent question is
Yeah.
this situational based growth of organization
Mhm.
is always going to be in perspective of future planning.
No, it's about.
Why? Because see, if somebody is running a business
Mhm.
depending on import from one
Mhm.
particular country,
Yeah.
and there the ban or because of price rise or something else, I
Mhm.
mean, he would not get the raw material.
Yeah, that's true.
How would he continue for that?
That's true. So from this context, you're right. But
Yeah,
there are two ways to look at it. One is I do it for future planning for this event and
yeah,
maybe such events.
yeah.
So that is one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it is I see this as a regular events happening again and again.
In that scenario, we will go for alternative resources immediately available.
Yeah, not for just ensuring your business continues, but that's what I said, scenario building. So build scenarios.
Okay,
Today you're seeing some scenarios. You imagine some faltu scenarios, which may look faltu right now, but it is not.
acha.
So for example, a scenario that business in your sector, wherever you are in, is only run by AI, a scenario. Okay. Now, how do I live in that scenario? Imagine, build. I'm not saying fantasize, but imagine it from that every perspective that you can see. Assume today what is happening is just a trailer to what may be happening
In
unrelated in the future.
in the future. Yes, yes.
That's the point.
Very rightly said, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, Pranam Rohit ji.
Pranam, pranam, Rohit. Bolliye.
Rohit ji, when it was in COVID, I have attended entire your Darpan, and I was also part of one of your courses,
Mhm.
myself and my son-in-law.
Yeah.
And now,
Mhm.
whatever just now you told, whatever the strategically we have planned in COVID era has
Mhm.
to be restructured again in this era, in
Yeah,
this scenario.
that's true.
So for few years, after a few years, again we have to restructure all these things, or we have to be on the toes every time.
On the toes every time. That's exactly what the whole thought was today. This is not going to be permanent state. You don't you I'm saying not the war scenario, for example. I'm talking about anything of this sort is going to be permanent state. Today you are able to see something, tomorrow you will not be able to. For example, AI came in between. Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. That's a positive disruption, right? It's not a negative disruption. But we as when was the big AI wave of ChatGPT launched? Do you remember which year?
I think it is 2024, as if I
Yeah.
remember properly.
So almost 2 years back. So in 2 years, how many businesses, and I'm talking about the family businesses that we usually work with, have actually changed the way they operate because of this disruption? I meet so many of them. Apart from writing emails, changing, or maybe some people have used them as customer service agents. Some people are writing as AI agents. Very few. Majority people are not using the power of AI. So it's a positive disruption. War scenario, negative disruption. Now this disruption every 1 year is going to happen something new only which you had not even imagined. When COVID happened, we didn't imagine. War happened, we didn't imagine. Ceasefire happened, we didn't imagine. What will happen tomorrow, we don't know. So therefore, you'll have to be on toes all the time, and that's what I said. Absentee entrepreneurship is not going to work anymore. You have to be fully present, 100%. Fully means fully. You can't be doing anything else. एक्शन नहीं करना है बेशक, प्रेजेंस इंपॉर्टेंट है, एब्जॉर्ब करना है सब कुछ.
हाँ रोहित जी, लेकिन फिर जैसे अभी हम एक प्लानिंग से अभी किया, अभी हमने हम वी आर आल्सो रीशफलिंग सो मेनी थिंग्स.
हम्म.
देन द एम्प्लॉय सेज, अरे सर आपने अभी तो ऐसा बोला था, अभी तो व्हाट इज द थिंग. सी
हम्म.
एट प्रेजेंट वी आर आल्सो इन अ डायलेमा, व्हिच वे टू गो एंड व्हिच वे नॉट टू गो.
ये आपने बहुत अच्छा बोला. एम्प्लॉय बोलता है अभी तो आपने ऐसा बोला था, कल आप कुछ और बोल रहे हो, लेकिन आपने जो तब बोला था वो उस समय के कॉन्टेक्स्ट के लिए सही था. अब आज जो बोल रहे हो वो आज के कॉन्टेक्स्ट के लिए सही है और वो गलत है. वो तब सही था, आज गलत है. ये जो आपके अंदर का चेंज हो रहा है ना, उस
ओके.
चेंज को एम्ब्रेस करना पड़ेगा. और अगर आप एम्प्लॉयज के साथ रहते रहते काम कर रहे हो ना, तो
ओके.
उनको एक साथ शॉक नहीं देना. उनको बताना कि देख मैं कल ये बोला था, धीरे धीरे कुछ बदलाव हो रहा है लेकिन हम करते रहेंगे, मैं तेरे साथ हूँ, चिंता मत कर, तू करता रहे. You continue doing what you're doing. I'm with you. I'll tell you when the things are changing. Because employees are not illogical. No? They become, that's what I said. Communication is not the key. Clarity is the key.
ओके.
If you're not clear, you can't pass clarity. The clarity of thought is the primary strategic competitive advantage in today's world.
रोहित जी, अभी सॉरी टू इंटरप्ट यू, अभी हमने जैसे फॉर दैट रीजन ओनली, बिकॉज एवरी अप्रैल वी
Hmm.
हम लोग उनका जैसे पगार बढ़ाते हैं, ये पगार बढ़ाते हैं, बट लुकिंग एट द सिनेरियो वी
Hmm.
हैव रियली थॉट के अभी पगार न बढ़ाते हुए उनको इंसेंटिव्स ऑन सेल्स वी आर
Hmm.
प्लानिंग टू गिव देम जो सेल्स पूरा जो भी सेल्स कंपनी का हो रहा है, अकॉर्डिंगली वी विल बी गिविंग द इंसेंटिव्स टू दैम, सो दैट कंपनी को भी जो एक आपने कहा कि जो फिक्स्ड फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट है वो थोड़ा ये हो जावे वेरिएबल फिक्स। ये चीज को हम लोग वेरिएबल कर सकते हैं कि अगर तुमने सेल बढ़ाया तो यू विल आल्सो बी बेनिफिटेड। सो इज इट व्हाट एक्चुअली द थिंग्स व्हिच आई मीन एज पर योर स्ट्रेटेजी दैट वी हैव टू
नहीं
डू?
कर सकते।
सॉरी सर।
नहीं कर सकते। सो कुछ चीजें आप नहीं कर सकते। फॉर एग्जाम्पल यही यहीं पर विजडम आता है। कहीं पर हम कर सकते हैं, कहीं पर हम नहीं कर सकते हैं, तो हमको बैठ के उसको प्लान करना पड़ता है कि व्हाट इज राइट एंड व्हाट इज रॉन्ग। एंड सर्टन थिंग्स आर लिटरली रॉन्ग इन टुडे सिनेरियो which can have a reverse impact on you. So therefore, do things very cautiously. Any
ओके
decision that we take, keep everybody in the whole scenario, and do not keep only some polarized scenarios. So ये बहुत न्यू वर्ल्ड है। थिंकिंग भी चेंज करनी पड़ेगी, द वे यू इमेजिन भी चेंज करना पड़ेगा, द वे यू ऑपरेट भी चेंज करना पड़ेगा। So a lot of things are to be rethought, but specifically this question, I don't think is the right decision. It won't work.
ओके सर,
Okay, thank
थैंक
you.
यू।
Yes, Hemanji.
Good morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Uh, can you just little expand on what you meant by organizational coherence? The
Coherence means everybody thinks similar.
everybody thinks similar. Okay, that is including the people as well as
Yeah, of course.
employees.
They're working with you, no?
Okay.
They have a single the clarity. It's like clarity is constant across.
Okay.
So more the people, the clarity becomes unclear. Decision makings are you face it every day, so it's not a something which the earlier people could survive those environments. Now people won't be able to survive those environments,
Okay.
so they
And
will have to ensure that coherence stays.
even
Yeah,
in this particular uncertain times, I mean, I'm working with some people who are thinking of 10x growth kind of stuff.
that's
What do
okay.
you think,
It
sir?
doesn't matter. You should, but while you're thinking that, don't leave other things away.
Okay.
It's more important. Adaptive growth is more important than speed of growth. यूजुअली क्या होता है, स्पीड ऑफ ग्रोथ के चक्कर में हम अडेप्शंस नहीं करते, अपने आप को अडेप्ट नहीं करते इन सिनेरियो के हिसाब से,
Mm-hmm.
एंड वी डाई।
Okay. Okay. Good. Thank you.
यस अनुप जी,
Good morning.
गुड मॉर्निंग।
Excellent session. And I think the best takeaway today, which I feel is the whole discussion of the new era thinking and focus, which I the need of the hour and the need of the future too.
या
In terms of models of disruption, I have feeling that as a leader, one has to think global and act local. Because last week also
या
discussed that Indian situation is still much better than rest of the world.
यस
One should
यस
not jump on immediately coming to the new model and disrupt the existing situation as it is. We have to think locally and gradually adapt to whatever is likely to happen and what may happen. But definitely, all other points which you mentioned are very, very important and relevant.
Yeah, so your point of act local and think global is correct. Only thing is this can't be seen only in isolation. You have to see many other things together
Yeah,
along with it.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you, Rohit.
Thank you.
Good morning and thank you for restarting Darpan.
Thank you, Purify. Thank you.
My basic question was in this entire disruptive world, as consultants, I see that we have a major role to play as leaders.
Yeah.
But the way businesses function, like Zomato, Zepto, or Blinkit, all those kinds of things, do you feel that service providers also would need to adopt this business style of approaching to the clients, or how this is going to affect the service industry and how we should be prepared for this? We know that what are the changing modes, what the technology is like. For in my personal case, I have been promoting sustainable styles of construction techniques and ways, but it's very difficult for the client to adapt to all these things because of the changing financial situations. The projects get halted and everything like that. So, do we need to search for our resources constantly or just wait and watch kind of thing?
वेट एंड वॉच तो कुछ होता नहीं है. We have to continuously keep doing something or the other.
Yes.
Try multiple models. What works, what doesn't work. We don't know. Actually, you will not know, but your wisdom will tell. Some tools will tell. So today, the biggest teacher is experimentation. If you're not able to do experimentations every day to keep on changing things and be part of the 2% of the population, you will not be able to survive the next wave because you won't even realize when it comes and takes you over. So therefore, every day thinking new, creating new, every year planning new, walking on it, being present, adapting on the way is important. So whether it is Swiggy Zomato model, whether it is HBR model, whether it is any model, you have to be continuously doing things. And while you're doing things, I've also realized one thing suppose uh, in the era A or 5 years back, something was working. Today, but then after 2 years, that thing was not working. We did something else. It worked for that time. After 1 year, again, something changed. We worked for that time. So we keep on evolving. The problem here is that when we leave something, we leave it completely. It may happen, it has happened that maybe today, when you're evolving again, something that was working 5 years back might be working now. So do not leave everything everywhere. Come back and look at it and then rephrase it, reform it, recreate it, and move forward. So it's if you're not present, if you're absent, it won't work. You have to be there all the time to be able to create a great impact. As consultants, also, I think there is no consulting word anymore that exists. It's only companions. If you can't behave like a companion, you can't behave like a leader. So you have to be present all the time. And therefore, models need to be evolved, models need to be created, models need to be disrupted as the time goes on. So multiple things. So you're right. So it is not a wait and watch. It is a continuous experimentation mode that you have to be in.
Yes, thank you. But when you say that we are in an experimental mode, what happens is with whomsoever we are experimenting, there is a pause. There is a halt in a project. So your experiment is on a pause mode. You have not yet realized that entire potential of that.
I understand. So that's where,
So मेरा वही था कि do we have to hunt for some other
of course,
client who will be working on that experiment?
of course, 100%, or do it yourself. That's the role of a leader without a title.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you. Okay. One last question. Already out of time. Yes, it was.
Yeah, so my question was very simple. You are laying emphasis on the presence part of it.
Yeah.
So, since I'm doing implementation work in the domain of digital transformation for a large organization,
Mm-hmm.
and that too, it is a PSU again. So,
Okay.
I find it very challenging part of it.
Yeah.
How's it possible? What is to be done? So, I'm not looking at the solution part of it, but I'm just curious to understand if there are any things which have been done already for those.
See, the presence is the key everywhere. And I'm the very clear. In certain places, if two chemicals are required to create a product, no matter how much one chemical try, product will not get formed if the other one is not present in the quantity required. So while you are in a digital transformation mode, if you are actually spending, if your time requirement on the project for transformation is say in a day of month of 30 days, 30 working days, for example, you should be present for 25 days to do things independently. And the other person should be present for 5 days. Now, 5 may look smaller, but without that 5, 25 will not work. Get it? So you will have
Yeah,
to
yeah.
understand everybody's presence required is extremely. If the 5 is present more, that may be even your whole 25 plus 5 may come down also. So situational, but right presence, absolute presence to the extent it is required is required. And presence is an important element into this world because absentee entrepreneurship, absentee leadership doesn't work anymore. It never used to work earlier also. I have been promoting this thing for past 12 years that delegation is not the right thing to do. But now though it's definitely not going to work.
Okay. And one more aspect of it, since you said financial and cultural both needs to be balanced, synchronized.
Mhm.
So I'm a small company with 12 employees and everybody is out there in the different phase. I don't know what is my culture in my organization itself.
Great opportunity.
And we are not physically at one place also. So it's far more challenging to me. It is good to listen to that. Okay, it looks fantastic, acha, the culture must be like this, but I don't know what kind of culture I'm having and how to have that also, because since the disruptions are occurring, I'm more into the survival mode myself.
Yeah.
The organization since COVID.
This is
So
where
startup mode is not going. Yeah.
this is where the leadership makes a lot of difference. So as TransGanization, we are about 50-member team, 55-member team, all at respective seeker organizations. We don't meet in office at all, but we still have a culture. We meet once in a month in which we speak about it. We have these Darpan sessions going on where people come over, they talk about it. We have ACOM happening, but it's all driven from top. You will have to ensure that the culture gets formed. Our induction program was stronger, very strong. We're very strong on philosophy. We believe this is what we are going to create. Our eras, new era is what we are creating. So culture is not coming from just कि मुझे culture बनाना है. Culture is from what you really want to. The why of your organization makes the culture, and that's where has to be the leader's role to make sure that it happens. So it is not about meeting. It doesn't matter. There are so many organizations I know who are just purely work from home. How are they creating culture? Culture is to be designed. Otherwise, it will become default, and then people will only join you for paycheck. They will join you for anything else. They'll still join you for paycheck, but there will be another motivation apart from paycheck which will help you and survive and grow in any uncertain or difficult times also.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, Yogesh. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much. It was great speaking to all of you. Next week, we'll meet Darpan on looking at the models of disruption and how companies of different sorts work in those disruptive scenarios. Thank you. Let's conclude today's session with